The Innsbruck Hauptbahnhof freight avoiding line was opened in 1994. It's about 14 kilometres long, of which 12.75 kilometres are in the Inntal tunnel. At its northern end, this line will soon connect directly into the new construction being built to double the capacity of the Inn Valley line to Wörgl. East of Hall in Tyrol, this new facility crosses the Inn on an open bridge before entering the tunnel. It's not a very photogenic crossing. This is the southern end of the tunnel, considerably more photogenic. We see a 1044 emerging with a rolling highway train from Wörgl. Note the driver's accommodation car and the very small wheels used on the purpose-built wagons. We will be discussing these trains in some detail as we make our way to the southern terminal next to the Italian border. But for now, did you notice the road vehicles being carried near the front of the train? Tail-end power on this train is a Class 1216 Taurus. Its multi-voltage capability is not required on the service. The Hauptbahnhof avoiding line merges with the classic route within 400 metres of leaving the tunnel. It's a flat junction, sensible enough as building a flyover here would be an extravagance, as come the Brenner base tunnel, this whole section will be bypassed. The DB-powered Eurocity is hauling Italian passenger cars, and their next stop will be Brenner. Looking north, with the Hauptbahnhof line to the left, a Taurus-hauled freight is emerging from the Inntal tunnel. It's another rolling highway train. In early 2009, these were running hourly to and from Wörgl, and as you can see, loadings seem pretty decent. This is an Electro Talent, the 4-car version, on a Brenner Innsbruck shuttle. Earlier, we encouraged you to note the carriage of road vehicles on the train. We think that the first few vehicles are Fiats. Fiats can also be seen on classic rail wagons moving cars across Europe. The second batch are Alfa Romeo vehicles. We have never seen these being carried by rail before. Finally, at this location is a short classic freight, hauled by a pair of Trax locks from Bombardier. The lead locomotive is in the livery of the port of Rostock. The second locomotive is in the livery of TX Logistics. Both machines are owned by the North Rhine-Westphalia-based company who operate out of Bremerhaven and some other North German ports. South of the Inntal tunnel is the classic Brenner Railway. This location is near the Patscher Tunnel. In the background is the Europabrücke, one of the impressive motorway bridges on the Brenner Autobahn. The Europabrücke was built in the early 1960s. It's 800 metres long and 190 metres high, a wonder of the modern world at that time. There are half a dozen short tunnels around Patscha. The longest is the Mühltal tunnel at 872 metres. Though one of the highest of the Alpine railway crossings, the Brenner route was built without a long base tunnel, such as found on the Lurchberg or the Gotthard. Consequently, the ruling gradients can be quite severe. 3% is common. However, modern traction copes quite well with this, and just 2 locomotives are required for this intermodal. While power saving, current return, is possible on the Austrian side of the railway, it's not available under the Italian 3000-volt DC system. This pushes up operating costs for both freight and passenger trains. The Brenner passed through the Ötztaler, Stubaier and the Zillertal Alpen is an obvious route for any connections between North and South Tyrol. Apart from the pass, it's inhospitable terrain, with peaks that rise to 3,500 metres. The first usable crossing was made in 200 AD, the Via Claudia, and a Kaiserstrasse was ordered by the Empress Maria Theresa in 1772. Just like the story of the Semmering Railway, railways existed on either side of the mountain section. The railway to Innsbruck arrived in 1858 and to Bolzano from the south a year later. At that time, the whole region, including Lombardy, was Austrian, which is why the Austrian government gave the concession to link Innsbruck to Bozen and build the line that we now know as the Brenner Railway. Just as the concession was let and a new company was founded, the Imperial State Lombardy, Venetian and Central Railway, the states of Venetia and Lombardy were lost by the Austrians to the cause of Italian unification. Just as the Semmering Mountain Railway had its hero, Karl Ritter von Kecher, so did the Brennerbahn, Karl von Etzel from Heilbronn in Germany. He was the son of an eminent Stuttgart city planner, who grew up to be a renowned and prolific railway engineer and architect. He worked on railway lines in Württemberg, this is Ludwigsburg station in 1870, also Switzerland, Hungary and Croatia. In 1859, he became General Director of Construction for the Imperial Southern Railway. Regrettably, he did not live to see the completion of the Brenner Railway. He died in 1865. Back to the Brennerbahn in 2009. This is Matrai station, with a northbound Eurocity of Italian stock passing through at speed. Matrai is hardly important, but there are loops here for trains in both directions. The 4-car Electro Talent is taking advantage of this facility. Through the village we catch a pair of multi-system Siemens machines. The train is rather poorly loaded. Semi-trailers and swap bodies are carried. In the opposite direction, a Class 1044 is seen with the Brenner to Würgl rolling highway train. Once again, note the large proportion of car carriers being conveyed. The Electro Talents seem to have been a great success with the ÖBB. The first examples, 3-car sets, were purchased in 2003 for developing the S-Bahn network around Salzburg. Apart from some braking issues, now fixed, they seem to have done very well. After the 3-car units came the 4-car sets, used on suburban duties around Vienna to replace the ageing Class 4020s. Sets of these new units from Siemens have been allocated to Graz, Knittelfeld and Selzhau, and of course, Innsbruck. Once again near Matrei, we catch an Innsbruck-bound empty timber train. You can see at this point the line is in good shape. Particularly note that the catenary has just been renewed. With an hourly service in each direction, it's hardly surprising that eventually we would get a pass of rolling highway trains. A Combi, a subsidiary of Rail-Cargo-Austria, has recently introduced a new variant on its service. The carriage of non-accompanied trailers, still using their special low-floor vehicles. These will run between Wels and Turkey. We haven't seen this yet, and must say that we can't quite imagine how it's going to work. Loading, for instance, will be quite a challenge. But the benefits of not hauling the road tractor units across Europe is obvious. They're just dead weight, and anyway it's not earning the haulier, who owns the tractor unit, any money. Lorry drivers are already flown between Austria and Turkey, although as far as we know, the accommodation coach is still used in the semi-fixed formation trains.